everybody. My name is Anna Olinicka. I am the Regional Recruitment Manager for Coventry University Wrocław campus. We are the only British university in Poland, the only foreign university in Poland, based in Wrocław. Our campus was open in 2020, so 5 years ago. We started off with 12 students in March 2020 because, as you remember, it was a difficult period of the COVID outbreak. However, we are quickly growing. So next year we are expecting to have 350 students. Now we have 220, and in 2 years our campus will be full. We will have 500 students. On the first slide you can see our building, actually a snippet of our building located just next to the only skyscraper in Wrocław called the Sky Tower. Wrocław is the fourth biggest city in Poland, located in the southwest of the country, close to the German border and the Czech Republic border. It used to be a German city before World War II. Thus, the architecture is very low. The city is calm and chill, even though you can find everything in Wrocław. As I've mentioned, it's a very big city with 1 million inhabitants, but still it's kind of chill. So a very nice place to study. That is why every year there are over 100,000 students in Wrocław. Last year, I think it was 130 students. So this city of students. I will tell you a little bit more about the location and the building, and then we will proceed to information about the degrees, the module system, and so on and so forth. If you have any questions, please write them in the chat box, and I will reply to them at the end of this meeting. So, as I've mentioned, the building is a modern one. Right next to other buildings of the same type, office type building. It's a modern complex of 4 identical big white office buildings. We are neighbors with big global universities that would sometimes offer internships for our students and cooperate with us. The location is very good because it's only about 1 kilometer from the city center, 1 mile from the old town. Therefore, our students can use all the facilities an old town city center would provide. In the Sky Tower that you see on the picture, you would have restaurants, cafes, shops, even the gym. So when our students have a pause, breaks in the day, they would often go there. We rent 2 floors in the building, so the ground floor and the first floor. On the picture at the bottom of the this slide, you can see the main corridor on the first floor and the entrances to the classrooms from the main hall. On the left side of this picture, behind the white wall, you will find the library, which is a fully digital library. It's a very modern and spacious place. Fun fact is that even the furniture was imported from England, so we bought the same furniture as our other campuses in the UK, because the ambition of our university, which is a huge group with over 30,000 students in the UK and 50,000 students worldwide, is to have a very similar offer for our students anywhere they would study. So Coventry University Group has several campuses all over the world. We would have a campus in Poland, a campus in Kazakhstan, campus in Egypt, campus in Morocco, several TNEs, so cooperations with other universities where, for example, a student could take 1 or 2 years in another country like Malaysia or Singapore, and then join the year 3 in the UK. And we also have business hubs, like, for example, Dubai, China, or Brussels, which are responsible for liaising business to education. So, for example, we would find business partners, we would find companies that we educate, we would find employers for our students, internships. So a huge group present all over the world. Coventry University is one of the biggest universities in the UK, in the West Midlands. This is Another picture of the building, the last one, from the front. So as I've mentioned, the first 2 floors are ours. The ground floor here with the flight simulator, which is linked to one of our very special degrees, aviation management. It's located at the bottom of the building. And the first floor, this one at the corner, is the academics room. They have their own space. On your right, you see a picture of the aviation management classroom. They have a nice wall painting. On the next slide, you will see an area very close to our building. Just behind the next one, our neighboring building, there's a sports facility, a basketball court, which open to everybody. So our students can use it during the break time if they have time, if not after the lessons, because we usually teach from 9 to 1 p.m. and then the afternoon shift from 1 to 5 p.m. So there's always time to combine studies with leisure and work. This is me throwing the ball, and here you can see our lecturers, academics, Shane from aviation management and Julia, the cybersecurity lecturer. And a picture from the inside. This is the main reception desk when you enter the premises on the ground floor. So this is the meeting point of students. Let's say there are always plenty of students here talking to the customer service representatives. We always have 2 colleagues from the customer services team or student ambassadors supporting them that would be there to help our students with everything. So this is the not academic staff that would help you with anything you need. Shall it be small things like you cannot enter a classroom, you need a new access card, or bigger things like you need help with finding accommodation or information if you can use a company to get a residence permit stay in Poland. Anything actually is supported by customer services, so very helpful. If you need anything, go there. In the front of the picture, you can see Evelyn, our student ambassador from Rwanda, and the campus director, Jacek Lewandowski, who used to be a teacher. He used to be an academic in England for several years, teaching cyber security. The next slide shows you Wrocław. So we call Wrocław in Poland the Venice of Poland, and the reason for that is that the city is located on 5 big rivers. So on the cross lines of these rivers in the city, you will find several smaller channels of these rivers, hundreds of bridges, dozens of islands. There's even a student island called Wyspa Słodowa, where students would meet, party, have fun. And this is actually the place our year 2 and year 3 students take out the year 1 newcomers at the beginning of the academic year in September. So I am sure if you join us, if you come to Wrocław, to any university, you will always find time to go with your friends to one of these islands. So once again, you see low architecture, a lot of red brick, hundreds of churches. It's a really picturesque city, and I can say this because I do not come from Wrocław. I don't live in Wrocław. So as a person from outside, I can really value the city because it's it's very chilled, it's very slow comparing to Warsaw, for example, the capital. So you would have everything you need, but in a slower tempo. So a little bit about us. We have completed the part with information about the city and the building itself. Now a little bit more about the university. As I mentioned before, 30,000 students in the UK, 50,000 students globally overall. In Wrocław, 220 students now. Next year, our ambition is to have 350. So if you join us in September 2025, you will be already part of the bigger bunch. Coventry University has been awarded several prizes in the last years. For example, top 100 in the world's youngest universities. We are very dynamic, always in the forefront of changes. Whatever Coventry University introduces, other UK universities often follow. So we were the first university to introduce 6 intakes, for example, meaning students can join us in September or November or January or March or May or July, anytime they want. throughout the year. That makes us very flexible, very modern. Our years are not divided into semesters, but blocks. A couple of years after us, other universities started doing the same. We are very much focused on business and practical teaching. There's a special unit in the UK working with businesses. And these colleagues of ours contact big companies, global businesses, asking them what type of skills or knowledge would be useful in their sector in the next 5 or 10 years, and then accommodate our syllabus, change the syllabus of the programs to match these needs in the labor market. And that is why we are always being perceived as a very modern, quick-paced, dynamic university with creative solutions. 5 QF stars for employability, another prize here. And that title is very, very important because it just shows a trend in England and in Poland where we concentrate on the skills, the knowledge that would give you work possibilities, but also we have a talent team who would help our students to get internships all over the world. There's the possibility to make a sandwich year, which is a pause, a 1-year break between years 2 and year 3, where our students stay on the student list and have the opportunity to work anywhere they want in the world for 1 year. And we provide them support. I will tell you more about it later. The employability is also proven by the fact that 95% of our alumni get a good work within their sector of education in 6 months from graduation. And just recently, we were awarded gold for student experience, meaning our students like studying with us. So why choose us and not another university? Well, obviously, apart from the fact that we are a British university located in Poland, and the diploma we provide will be exactly the same as the ones we provide in our other campuses in England, like Coventry campus, London campuses. We have 4 campuses in London, or the northwest town of Scarborough in the UK. Everywhere, our alumni get the same diploma. The name of the city or the location is not mentioned on the diploma. So you would get exactly the same qualification as going to the UK without having to do that. But what else? So first of all, our way of studying is different. It's very much simulation oriented. So we would ask our students to practice the theory to make them employable in the future. We teach in blocks, meaning that every day for 6 weeks, our students learn 1 subject at a time. So every day from 9 to 1 p.m. or from 1 to 5, you would be learning only 1 subject, meaning that your brain is focused on this 1 topic completely, and you have the opportunity to make a lot of group exercises. This is what our academics do. They would introduce games, simulations, practical exercises that are done for the whole time of this block of the 6 weeks. So it's a completely different way of studying, not just theory and then you write an exam and you forget the knowledge. Coventry University is all about making sure that you have acquired the knowledge in practice. Fit your studies around your life. That's because of the teaching hours, right? The study day is quite short. So 4 hours of teaching per day. You can work. Most of our students work. If you look at years 2 and years 3, most of our students actually find a job, some in the sector of their education, the current one, some in another sector, but they all support their parents financially by working. Also, they build their professional portfolio. And most of our students already have a LinkedIn account, which is quite surprising to me. In my generation, a LinkedIn account would be something you create when you are about 25 to 30, and our year 1, year 2 students already create their LinkedIn accounts. A supportive environment. The groups are small, up to 25 students per group. Our maximum capacity is 2 groups per degree per year, so 50 students per subject. Yes, so this is how we are different. So it's an absolutely unique experience. We offer many more things than most European universities, right? Module system, practical teaching, British diploma, also the talent team in the UK that will help you to find a job, and the success coaches. The success coaches are people who would help the students to succeed in every way. So for example, if a student has problems with his or her academia, they struggle with learning, they cannot pass a module, for example, the success coaches are there to support them and, for example, establish a new study plan. Right, so they would write a study plan, together to make sure that they succeed. Or if they have some emotional problems, for example, the success coaches are there to redirect them to the relevant specialists. Anything you need, the success coaches are there for you. These are the other options I mentioned before, just to show you how big the university actually is. You can see pictures of the Coventry University main campus. This is EEC building, so engineering and computing. London City campus, located in the city center of London. So the best, most elegant, the richest part of England. We have a campus there. This is the CU group, so the colleges, offered also in Coventry, the main city of our university, Scarborough, and the town located in the north of England. This is more for mature learners, so postgraduate studies, I would say. London Dagenham and London Greenwich. All of these you can combine with the Polish experience, meaning you could study with us for 1 year or 2 years and then transfer to one of the UK campuses, provided that it offers the same degree, of course, because not each one of the 242 degrees offered in England will be compatible with every other campus. In Wrocław, we offer 7 undergraduate degrees, and some of them are offered also in main campus Coventry, some of them are offered in Scarborough, some of them are offered in London. The only thing you need to remember is that the fees in England will obviously be different. So you could start with us for the fees offered in Wrocław. If you decide to complete the studies in the UK, you will be subject to the UK fees. Still, if it's possible for you, for your family, I think it's a great experience. It gives you the international touch to your studies. The degrees. So let's start with the undergraduate applied psychology, which is the practical side of psychology, preparing you to do different jobs related to psychology. But I would also say sociology. It does not prepare you to become a clinical psychologist just yet. So after 3 years, you could decide you don't want to go into the clinical path at all because you don't want to heal people. You don't want to be kind of a doctor. You would prefer to work in research, for example, or HRs, for example, or in a company, right? You could be working on client or user experience, looking at, for example, the psychology of purchase or sales. There are several different paths you could take after the applied psychology. There are a lot of modules on the practical side of psychology, how it can be used in society and communities, brain and behavior. A very interesting degree that gives you several possibilities if you are interested in yourself and other people, but you're not sure what you want to do yet in your life after studying. That's a good start. Applied biosciences is the practical side of biosciences, as the word applied means. It is a course held mostly in the lab. 90% of the classes are held in the laboratory, with a very big focus on cells, for example, on pathophysiology. So a lot of work with the microscope. A possible path after that would be, for example, drug discovery for a pharmaceutical company. And the next one is aviation management, which I have already mentioned before. That's a very unique degree offered only by 2 universities in Poland and not that many in Europe or the world. You would have specialized universities specialized in the aviation sector, yes, but general universities do not really offer that one. And it's a very good path for people who are very open, communicative, extrovert, like to talk to people, like a very dynamic atmosphere of work with a lot of change. They're not stressed or afraid by the change. It is suitable for people who will work in airlines or at airports all over the world, actually 2 million job places globally. Business management and leadership is still our most popular course. Maybe it will change in the future. This is the biggest group, and actually it's the most Polish group as well. So the most local students study this one. Whereas, for example, aviation management is mostly international, with students from Japan to Alaska, with everything in between. And all the other courses are, I would say, half-half in terms of internationalization. Business management and leadership is a great base to either become a manager in a corporation or to found your own small company, your startup. It will give you the skills and the knowledge based on macroeconomics, microeconomics that are transferable anywhere you want in the world. So the knowledge you will acquire here is not only applicable to one country or one region, but you will be able to go wherever you want and work in business. The two IT-related degrees, computing science and cybersecurity, have a common year one. That's an interesting fact, meaning that they all have the same lessons, the same subjects in year one. And after that, they can decide if they want to stay in the course they have chosen initially, or they would like to change to the other one, and then they split in year two. Computing science is more general. It's informatics, right? IT, whereas cybersecurity is focused on ethical hacking, and students work on our special programs. We have 3 IT labs on campus, and the students are using special programs to simulate either attacks or defense. And our partners, as you can see at the bottom, the logos of our partners, these are huge companies, would invite our students to their premises. Global Logic invites our students to their office to make a simulation game, for example. So very interesting. Financial management and accounting, the last degree, was actually not launched yet because we did not have a sufficient number of applicants last year or the year before. So I'm not sure if we are going to open it in September. We will see and count the applications. It's a general course related to accounting and finances. A fun fact, interesting information is that there's a module on, for example, Islamic banking, because they have a whole different law related to the banking system, to loans, right? Because they cannot make profits out of loaning. The only postgraduate course, I'm not sure if this will be relevant to you, is the MBA. We had the general MBA path. Soon it will be called the Global MBA. So we are changing it a little bit. It will be offered in January of 2026. Maybe you can tell your parents that we will have such a course. It lasts 18 months. The cost of the program is much higher because this is for executives that already have minimum 2 years of experience in a company, a proven track of professional career. A little bit more about our partners. We have 4 big companies partnering with us. So Collins Aerospace is the official partner of aviation management. They would teach 2 of the 12 blocks and also hire some of our students for internships. We do not guarantee any internship to our students. These are the students themselves that would have to apply for internships, look them up. We can, of course, provide information about these internships. And of course, these companies would know our students because we have a contact, but we do not guarantee internships. However, we know that many of our students do work in these companies. BioInmed is a Polish cluster of 40 companies, biotechnological, chemical companies, and they are the official partner of Applied Biosciences. Global Logic is the partner of cybersecurity degree, and we also have Fresenius, who is the official partner of computing science degree, but we cannot use their logo. Also, aviation management has a partnership with the airport of Wrocław. I don't know if you are aware, we have our own airport in Wrocław. So if you come to Poland, you will be able to land very close to the place you will be living. And the next slide. Okay, so this is a picture of our students having fun at an event, summer event outdoors. This just shows the real face of our university, which is very social. Our students are extremely friendly, so do not be afraid you will not find friends quick. They have their own WhatsApp group. They organize themselves. Our student ambassadors, which are 5 students that work for us on a paid basis, would be responsible for organizing networking events for all the students. So a couple of times per year, they organize an event outdoors or an indoors football table championship, for example, or Valentine's Day party, Christmas Day party, beginning of the new year event held outdoors. They would have cinema evenings on campus, lots of things. And these groups are very international, meaning diverse. And this is a very important factor, something that I cherish a lot, because my aim is to have as many nationalities on campus as possible, not to have one much bigger group of students from one nationality that would speak their language on campus, but the aim is to have all of the students speaking in English, because we have as many nationalities as possible. And for now, that is the case. I don't really hear students in the corridors talking in their own language. Sometimes you would hear Polish, because we obviously have more Polish students than internationals, but in general, they all speak English to themselves. Another picture of our students. So student ambassadors. This is a student from Rwanda. This is a student from Argentina. They are helping at an open day. In the background, you can see the picture of the oldest German Renaissance building in the world, where our city hall is located. The municipal administration of Wrocław is located there. It is, I think it was built in the 15th century, if I'm correct. So a very, very old, beautiful red brick building in the old town. And this is the place where we hold our graduation ceremony for year 3 alumni in September every year. The sandwich course. So I have mentioned this before to you. It's an opportunity to take a break, 1-year break between year 2 and year 3, and work. We would, of course, support students. Either you can choose find your own employer, or you can ask the talent team in the UK to help you find employers amongst all the ones that we have on our lists. But the most important part of our support is that we oversee if everything is fine throughout the whole process. So for example, if you choose to work at a company in Japan, we would first make a screening of the company, make a background check to see if the company really exists and if they are there, if they are fine and trustworthy. And once you come there, we will make sure that you are paid for your work, that everything is, is happening according to the work contract. On the other hand, we will also make sure that you actually come to work and that the employer is satisfied. So after that year, when everything is fine, you will get a document proving your work experience, which is a very nice thing to put in your CV later on. And you return to the year 3 students with no problem at all. So this is a bachelor degree in 4 years instead of 3, because you've had 1 additional year of work experience. And this is particularly handy just before your year 3, because in the last year you would write your thesis, your bachelor degree project or thesis. And therefore, with the work experience you already have in the sector of your education, you know more what you want to write your thesis about. And in which niche, in which part of the sector you would like to work after graduating. The career fairs. So once a year, my colleague Carolina, who is responsible for the B2B operations, meaning she would look for new partners for the company, anything we could do with businesses, she's responsible. She would organize career fairs, 12 to 15 big international companies who have hubs or offices in Wrocław would come to campus. They exhibit on our campus in the breakout space on the first floor, and explain to our students what they are looking for amongst their new employees in order to hire someone. So what skills, what knowledge they require. They also promote some workplaces that are already in the offer, and many of our students do find work or internship in these companies. On the picture you can see Ryanair. So of course the aviation management students would try to find work there, but not only, because the big airline companies always need IT specialists, right, or cybersecurity specialists, or even business management students could be a very nice fit into these big global companies. The teaching model I have already told you a little bit about. The block system is very well explained here and on the following slide, where I will show you a grid, like a timetable of the academic year. Every block or module, we use the names interchangeably. You can say module, you can say block, consists of 6 weeks where you learn only one subject at a time. It's a complete immersion in one topic, a little bit like the Montessori or the Waldorf education in primary school. It's just easier for the brain to do one thing at a time. Like you did a school project when you were young. In primary school, it would take you hours to do something, but it would be very pleasant, right? Because you would focus on this one thing. And this is exactly the system we use in our university. There are no end-of-year exams. There are assessments, however, after every block. So in the middle of the block, after 3 weeks of education, you would have a smaller assessment, and then at the end, after 6 weeks, you have a big one. And it's not a written exam. Sometimes you would have written multiple choice, for example, exams, but usually you need to prove in practice that you have acquired the knowledge, you know what you were studying. And this would take a form of a presentation, like I'm presenting to you guys now. I have been presenting for 30 minutes, right? It's a long time. So our students would have 30 minutes of presentation in front of a jury, in front of their professors, their academics, where they need to present their own project, show how they apply the theoretical knowledge into practice to solve problems. Because ultimately in life, you will see one day, every job, every professional job you have is about solving problems. It's just a matter of the more complex the problems you solve, the more they pay you for it, right? The more difficult the problems to solve, the higher position you get in a company. But even at the lower positions, even at the beginning, the start of your professional career, you already have some problems to solve. So in order for you not to ask your manager every time you do something, you need a little bit of practice already while studying, and this is what we guarantee you will have with us. Condensed teaching timetable from 9 to 1, but this year we also introduced 1 to 5 shifts. You will always know about the shifts prior to the beginning of the year. So don't worry, if you have work, then you can easily combine. And multiple start days across the year. So you could join us in September, November, January, March, May, and July. We do not execute the May and July intakes in Wrocław campus yet because there are not enough students. But I would say it's even better because it's easier for them to finish all at once in year 3 and have the graduation ceremony together in September. That is the ultimate goal, for them to all have the common graduation ceremony. This is a depiction of the block system. So September starters would join here. For example, this year it will be September 8th. Last year it was September 11th. Sometime around September 10th. If you join here, you would have one block assessment, 2 weeks of vacation, for example, to go home, make your laundry, or go to the Polish mountains or seaside, or visit Berlin, Prague, which are pretty close by. Then you start the other module, the second module, assessment, 2 weeks of break. The third module, assessment, 2 weeks of break, and then you finish in April. If you start around September 10, you would finish around April 10th, and then have 5 months of vacation. Let me repeat, 5 months of vacation. If you didn't hear, that is an amazing bonus. I don't know any other university offering that much vacation time. Not 3 like in Poland, but 5. So it gives you a great opportunity to either work almost half a year somewhere, or you could travel home, or take the opportunity to make a course, any type of course, like your driver's license, for example. If you would join in November, which is the case of most EU students, you would finish in mid-June. If you join us in January or March, which are the more international intakes, not always, right, but the majority of students would come from very far away, they would finish in mid-August and mid-October. So how does it work? The October or November, we call them November starters, because the module would start at the end of October, like October 31st, or sometimes November 5th, for example, right? So I call it the November intake. The November intake students would join September intake starters. They would have the module 2 together and the modules 3 and 4. Here in March, the September starters are already finished. They go home for vacation, whereas the November starters would finish by themselves, just the group that joined here and here and here in May. Then the starters who came in January would be together with the November and September starters in March and May. And in July, October group is not there anymore. They have already finished, right? So only January, March would be together here in May and July. I hope you understood the concept. I would advise joining in September or November, because these are the biggest groups, the bigger intakes, and it gives you the, let's say, more full experience of the student life. It's better to be in a group of 20 or 25 than in a group of 5. And in January and March, it does happen that a certain degree only have 5 to 10 new students. Plus, the summer vacation in Poland is so beautiful. It's just better to already have vacation in that time. This is an example of the assessments. These are pictures I took just to show you how it looks like. So it's not an exam. You don't see 30 or 100 students writing on exam papers on sheets of paper at the desks in silence. You can see a student presenting in front of 2 lecturers. You cannot see the other one. He was cut out by mistake. So you have 30 minutes of presentation, and you need to really know what you are talking about in order to pass this interview, right? The presentation. And here is the group of business management and leadership students preparing for the assessment. They would often meet in groups in the library prior to the assessment. And even though each of them is doing something different, because these are individual presentations, they would work on them together, and they are pretty stressed. So sometimes we bring them water or biscuits so that they're feeling taken care of. This is an example of how it would look like in practice. If you want to know all the subjects you would be learning in each of the degrees, please go to our website. You will have all the information. You just need to click on the concrete degree and then what you will study. And then you will have year 1, year 2, and year 3. Click on each of the years to see all the 4 blocks, the 4 modules you would be taught. So applied biosciences is just used as an example. It was first on the list. Year 1, 6 weeks of chemistry for biosciences, assessment, 2 weeks of break, introduction to microbiology in the second block, November block, then assessment, 2 weeks of break. In January, you start, after Christmas, you start applied cell biology, assessment, 2 weeks of break, introduction to anatomy and physiology, last assessment and 5 months of vacation if you join in September. Year 2, you come in September, you would have advanced cell and molecular biology. First, you had an introduction in year 1, and then, of course, the development, right, the higher level. Assessment, 2 weeks of break, principles of biochemistry, and so on and so forth. At the end, you would have the project. So this is your bachelor degree project or thesis that will give you the diploma of a Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Humanities, Bachelor of Arts. Student support services, we do offer additional support. So the library services, it's a fully digital library. In England, in Coventry campus, there's a huge library, 5 stories high with 2 million books, huge building. Of course, in Wrocław, we did not have such possibility. So we gave access to all of these records, all the manuals. You have access for free, 2 million books for the whole time of your studies. So there's a big library where you can study and ask the librarian for support in finding a record. Center for Academic Writing, done by the librarian. It would help you to write educational works. Career advice and support talent team, which I already told you about. They would help you to find internships and work throughout your study time. And accommodation in Wrocław, we can help you to find accommodation in the means that we have 3 private boarding houses cooperating with us in Wrocław. So we could always connect you with anyone you choose, and also give you promotional codes, because our students get small discounts in all of these. The library services. So as I mentioned before, you can have access to all the records online from your laptop. This is also important. It's not only from the library physically, not from the library computers, but from your laptop, wherever you are. You would have your login and password to join the manuals. You can rent a laptop for free. So every day you come to the library, you can rent a laptop and return it in the afternoon. The accommodation, I've mentioned it earlier. So Base Camp, Student Depot, and Milestone are the ones that offer discounts to your students. These are very high quality, quite expensive, but also luxurious boarding houses. They cost around 600 euros per month, depending on which one you choose and how long you want to sign the contract for. I would say the best discounts are given in Milestone at the moment. It's a 10% discount for our students. And they also have very nice double rooms where you would have 2 bedrooms with their own private bathroom, of course, but a common kitchen annex and a common bathroom. Or they also have 8 flats, like 8 rooms like this in a common flat in the boarding house building, right? It's all in the same building. If you would like to know more, then please write to these dormitories. International students, I've mentioned to you before, we are a very international campus. Between 30 and 40% of our students are foreigners coming from all around the world. So we would have a couple of students of several nationalities. These are just some that I have listed. Further on, you would have pictures of our parties organized by students, so the Christmas party. And look, here you would have students from Pakistan, Poland, Syria, and Ukraine. And here you also see a happy bunch of students from different countries. Valentine's Day party. We have a Valentine's Day mailbox where we distribute cards that peers offer to each other. Staff also uses this mailbox. We would have beginning of the year parties and several other activities. You will not be bored. This is a case study of Evelyn, a student from Rwanda who joined aviation management in January of 2023. After 6 months, she already had an internship in Rwanda Air. So this is the biggest airline in her native country. We helped her to organize this because we have a hub in Rwanda. So I've mentioned to you the business hubs we have all over the world. This is something we could do for our students, connect them with hubs in certain countries to help them find work or internships throughout their studies. She became a student ambassador very quickly. She had very good very good notes, good grades, and therefore she could combine very quickly being our student ambassador with studying. I actually took her to one of the recruitment events, I think somewhere in Poland at the seaside. We didn't have enough colleagues in recruitment to attend all of the recruitment events. There are plenty, especially in September, it's quite hectic. There are like 20 events where we need to be represented in Poland itself, plus the international flights, which I often take. So I asked the student ambassadors to support us. Last year, she started to work in 2 companies, part-time works. She combines it all somehow. So amazing girl, amazing portrait of who our students are and why they come to Poland. When somebody comes to Coventry University Wrocław, they are quite sure of what they want to do and they work hard. Next, you will see some companies, like big global companies that have offices in Wrocław. There are many more, but just for you to know that Wrocław has everything. So all the biggest IT companies, banks, pharmaceutical companies, any other financial companies. LG, for example, the only electric car battery factory LG has is located in Poland, just by Wrocław, so in the outskirts of our city, thus the big Korean community that we have here. The fees. So international students from outside of European Union would be required to pay 46,000 zloty per year. This is around 10,000 euros. And EU and Polish students would pay 27,500 zloty per year. There's a special Ukrainian war refugee scholarship at the moment, still valid in September. The one to come, and later we don't have information yet. And that means Ukrainian students get a scholarship, 50% of the EU domestic fees. So 50% of 27,500, that's 13,750 zloty per academic year. You can divide this into a couple of installments. The international students can pay in 3 installments. The EU students can pay in 4 installments. And there's an early birds discount, so you get a 10% promotion, 10% discount if you pay everything upfront in 1 installment at the beginning of the year before you join. So that's a very competitive tuition fee compared to other British universities. In England, at the moment, just for your information, the fees are between 15,000 and 18,000 pounds. So it's 3 times more than us. The application process is very easy. You would have to download an application form from our website. If you find study and then how to apply part of the website, you would find a file to download, fill out, sign by hand, and then scan and send back here. You don't have to apply through UCAS like other British universities. It's very easy. We are very quick to reply as well. You can apply now even if you don't have your high school diploma or high school exam results yet. You will get a conditional offer letter, and once you send us the results, you will get an unconditional offer letter if you meet the requirements. Don't ask me for the requirements now because we accept students from all over the world. So we have all these different entry requirements depending on the country you are from. However, if you are a student of an international school and you are doing the IB program or the A levels, the British program, the entry requirements are 28 points for the IB students and BBB, so triple B for A level students. The graduation ceremony, which is held in September for all year 3 alumni, is held here in this building. As you can see, it's a very prestigious location. We would have media coverage, press coverage every time. Local media, of course, not the national ones. Here you can see our student with her mom. And just a reminder, 95% of our alumni find work in their field of education within 6 months from graduation, and most of our students do work. The last slide is about student ambassadors. So as I've mentioned, they can work with us up to 20 hours per week. This is paid work, so it's a very nice position to put in your CV, and good memories because you get to travel a lot with my team. We would use your help at fairs in Poland, all across Poland. We would use your help online. So, for example, we need students to talk a little bit to students in a high school, just like I'm talking to you now. Also, they would make presentations for school trips. We have several high school partners across Poland called Phoenix Partners, and these schools visit us once per year. They come for a trip to Wrocław. Student ambassadors would help to organize the event. They would just lead the whole event when the kids are on campus. If anybody has a question, you can leave them in the chat box. And you can see the mail to my team here, Wrocław applications at Coventry. Oh, but we are missing a .ac.uk. So let me write it in the chat, the proper one in the chat box. If there's anybody here who needs a visa to Poland, please write me a mail. I will explain to you how to make the visa quite quick in an efficient manner and how long you can stay in Poland after graduation. So all the students from outside of EU, please write a mail to me. In this case, study in Wrocław administrator, should we end the call? Okay, thank you very much.